Here the evidence show Indian government planned and executed bombing of Air India Flight 182 on June 23, 1985. In recently recovered documentary from the US Government Publishing Office, Congressional Record Volume 146, the Indian government planning and execution of the Air India Flight 182 bombing is presented. Here is the real culprit in Air India bombing is an Indian government. You can see Hon Adolphus Towns of the New York in the House of Representatives, Tuesday, October 31, 2000. Mr. Thoms, Mr. Speaker, we are all pleased that the Canadian government has maintained an active investigation of the Air India bombing in 1985 that killed 329 people. Terrorism is always unexpected and all decent people condemned it. Thus, I read with interest this past weekend that Canada has arrested 26 Ripudaman Singh Malik and Ajay Singh Bagri for this bombing. Unfortunately, I believe that these two individuals are being scapegoated. The book Soft Target, written by journalist Brian McAndrew of the Toronto Star and Zohair Kashmiri of the Toronto Globe and Mail, shows that the Indian government itself carried out this atrocity. On June 23, 1985, Air India Flight 182 with service from Montreal, London, Delhi, India disintegrated in mid-air due to a bomb killing all 329 passengers on board. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police RCMP and a second organization, the Canadian State Investigative Services, began their investigation and uncovered alarming evidence. Before Air India Flight 182 took off, Surinder Malik of the Indian Council Journal in Toronto worked for India suddenly pulled his wife and daughter off the flight due to unexpected school examinations for his child. A Toronto car dealer who was a close friend of Indian Council Journal Surinder Malik also unexpectedly cancelled his reservation. Siddhartha Singh, head of North American Affairs for External Relations in New Delhi, India, who was visiting Indian officials in Canada, also suddenly cancelled his reservation on the flight. The book Soft Target quotes a CSIS agent as saying, "If you really want to clear the incident quickly, take Vance down to the Indian High Commission and the Indian Consulate in Toronto and Vancouver. Load up everybody and take them down for questioning. We know it and they know it that the Indians are involved." A Canadian member of parliament, David Kilgour, in his book Betrayed: The Spy Canada Abandoned, even confirms that a Canadian police double agent was recruited by associates of the Indian government to create a second bomb. He declined and reported it. Shockingly, despite the findings, 15 years later, the RCMP arrested 26 Ripudaman Singh and Ajay Singh. The congressional briefing goes on to state clearly the objective was to damage the Sikh freedom movement and raise the specter of Sikh terrorism to justify another of India's campaigns of violence against Sikhs. So,